That high school looked like prison. Glazed eyes just trying to fit in. Slow dancing, sloppy kissing. You did your time. Didn't know what you were missing. Oh, secondhand ambition. Till you went drifting down the double yellow line. You went from black and white to Technicolor overnight. You ain't in Kansas anymore. Nothing's the same as it was before. You're such a long way gone. Can't click your heels and go home again, baby. And one thing's for sure, you ain't in Kansas anymore. Hey there, guys. Framed on your mother's mantle is the you they all can handle. Out here you're such a scandal. Now you're on your own. Grown, you can't hold a candle to the kid in light blue flannel. Now you watch a different channel than the folks at home. You've seen the curtain fall, nothing back there after all. You ain't in Kansas anymore. Nothing's the same as it was before. You're such a long way gone. Can't click your heels and go home again, baby. And one thing's for sure, you ain't in Kansas anymore. Courage and heart, heart and mind, and all of the truths inside of you, you needed to find. You ain't in Kansas anymore. Nothing's the same as it was before. You're such a long way gone. Can't click your heels and go home. You ain't in Kansas anymore. Nothing's the same as it was before. You're such a long way gone. Can't click your heels and go home again, baby. And one thing's for sure, you ain't in Kansas anymore. Hi! Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Where the heck are you guys? I see some friends that I know are in North Texas. There's Tom in Louisiana. Tom, how you doing? I'm so glad that you're here. Dean, thank you so much for coming. Natalie, thanks for hanging out in the audience. Hey, Chris Loebe, I love you. Thank you for being here. I'm really excited about our special guest who's coming up soon, the lovely Miss Natalie Price. And I'm so excited about her that I texted my whole family right before the show and said, guys, I really think you should tune in for this one. It's been a while since I've straight up begged my family to tune into a live stream, but that's just where we are on this particular Thursday evening. Where are you guys? Hey, Goldie. Hey, Rusty. Rusty, how you doing out there on the West Coast? So I'm going to play one more song. I'm glad the air is clean in Santa Cruz. Hi, Heather. So as you know, this is our weekly Nobody's Girl check-in and Q&A. I'm Rebecca Loebe. I'm one of the 3 members of the songwriter trio Nobody's Girl. We all wrote that last song, Kansas, together. It's on our new album that's coming out next year on Lucky Hound Music. And This is a tune. This is actually one of the very first songs we ever wrote together. It's also going to be on the new record. This is a song that Grace usually sings lead on, but when I'm here by myself, I get to do it. Woo! Now I have one favor to ask y'all. As you're watching, especially on Facebook, if you could do me a favor and click that share button real quick. And the reason I ask you is because the gremlins in charge of Facebook decide in the first 5 or 10 minutes of a show how, quote, relevant it is to people who are watching it. And one way to communicate the relevance of a show is by clicking like, clicking share, and commenting. So, plus it's just would be nice to have some of your friends come join us. So please do us a favor, click that little share button. Let your friends, let Facebook know we are going to be having a party here for the next hour or so. You're not such a good idea, but I'm pulling for it. My friends wouldn't give us a green light, but I'm gonna floor it. When you call me after midnight, I want you more than I should. Then you stop by trying to act like you were just in the neighborhood. What'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do about you? About you? What'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do about you? About you? About you? You're gonna be a poet, or maybe a chef. Yeah, you're pretty and you know it. Not a safe bet. I can see you just got a tattoo. Is that supposed to be Van Gogh? Gonna stay here 'cause your rent's due something like 3 months ago. What'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do about you? About you? What'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do about you? About you? About you? What'll I do? I'm in trouble now. What'll I do? I'm in deep and I don't want out. What'll I know? I know better. I know I know better. I know I know better. I know. What'll I know? I know better. I know I know better. I'm in trouble now. What'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do about you? About you? What'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do about you? About you? What'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do about you? About you? About you? About you? Thank you. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks to y'all for sharing. Thanks for letting me know where you are. Heather, it's so good to see you. Cooter Brown, you read correctly. Megan Slinkard was going to be joining us tonight. However, unfortunately, she had to duck out at the last minute. No harm, no foul. All is good, and she will be back for a future webcast. And this week, the wonderful, oh, Megan, I can't believe you're tuning in from the car. You're so sweet. And the wonderful Natalie Price hopped in on less than an hour's notice to come fill in for Megan. So how exciting is that? So do stick around. If you like music, you'll really love Natalie. She's very good at making music. Speaking of Natalie, I'm going to put my headphones on and welcome our friend to the stage. Now, guys, this is our weekly Q&A. So if you have any cues for us, if there's anything you'd like to know about life as a musician, about the band Nobody's Girl, about what we're up to individually, or, life, the universe, or anything, let us know, and we will do our best to answer either truthfully or entertainingly, or maybe even both. All right, please give a warm, warm welcome to the wonderful Miss Natalie Price. Yay, she's here.
Hello.
Hello, my lovely friend. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Well, for those of you who are not aware, our guest right now is the fantastic Ms. Natalie Price. She is a singer-songwriter based in Austin, Texas. And Natalie, I guess before we dive into songs, I just want to chat with you for a minute. Why don't you tell us what has your 2020 journey been like so far?
2020. I don't remember a lot of it. It feels like just yesterday we got the news South by is canceled.
Yes.
And I've really gotten to know these four walls in my bedroom pretty well. And it's been weird. My bed has never been made this often. I make it every single day.
That's amazing. I've been doing that too. It makes
Yay
a difference.
for new habits.
Yeah.
New and good habits. I have set up for the first time. I've had an interface and all of the technology, but didn't know how to use it until the lockdown. So another score win. Never went live ever on anything.
Wow.
Until lockdown.
Whew.
And then I started an Instagram live show. So I'm live like every other night.
Yeah, well, and for a while, I mean, I've been so in awe of you because for a good long chunk at the beginning of lockdown, you were going live on Instagram every night. Do you want to tell us a bit about that show?
Sure. It's called 20 at 10, and I intended for the whole show to be 20 minutes in the beginning, but really I interview a guest for 20 minutes, and then we have a kind of back and forth afterwards and a song swap at the end. So it's about 40 minutes, and it's at 10 p.m. Central Time. And it was every night at first because literally no one was doing anything else and everyone was freaking out. And I just wanted it to be a break from everybody freaking out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about something we love. It's not Corona.
Yeah.
And now people are handling themselves better. And so I've backed off to like 3 nights a week. But
yeah, you're not, your services aren't needed as much. You can put the superhero cape away a few nites a week.
Yeah, but I still have a very long list of guests to come. So,
how many episodes have you done so far?
Counting half episodes, I did a few on Saturday mornings for my European guests. I think we're around 130.
That's
about 130.
Incredible. Hats off to you. And for me, it's been really amazing and really inspiring seeing how my friends and the musicians that I admire have adapted to all of this craziness. And, you know, when I'm on the road, I always say that, you know, touring reaffirms my faith in humanity like every day because I meet people, you know, just friendly people in gas stations and nice people at venues and day after day after day, strangers who let me sleep at their house like on very little notice, like all sorts of stuff. Not that I sleep at that many strangers' houses, but you know what I mean. It's happened.
Yes.
And in the same way, just seeing how in the past 6 months people have been so flexible, so adaptable, so conscientious of fellow humans, and also so creative in how they adapt to the situation. It's been inspiring, and it's really reaffirmed my belief that the people are pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how resilient people really are if we actually like have the mindset of like, okay, what can I do? Like, not ideal situation, but you know, it's not the end of everything. Right. Like what there is something I can do. What can I do right now? So
exactly. Yeah,
it's been really cool I agree. It's been cool to watch.
Well, I'm going to hop off and let you sing us a couple of songs. I'm eager to hear your pretty voice, but oh audience, do make sure to stick around for Natalie, and I'll be back when she's done singing, and we'll chat some more. And I would love to know if y'all have any questions for her or for us, or I will just keep grilling her.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to leave you in her capable hands. Bye, guys.
Oh yes, these are my curtains, so you can actually see the edge. You are seeing the man behind the curtain right now. This is called That Girl, and I hope you never meet her. That girl there in the bottle, the one you drink so soft and sweet. I'll never know the depths of you that woman has seen. She wakes you every morning, oh, she's closer than your dreams. You've given her your secrets, she promises relief. She promises relief, that girl that you need. She promises relief. Well, I was still a virgin when we married by the bay. I promised you my heart, I didn't know what she would take. That girl there in the bottle holds you deep beneath her waves, where you've caught the sirens call, and she carries you away. She carries you away, that girl that you crave. She carries you away. She carries you away. You're not hearing what I say. I watch you slip away. Well, I see you blink and stutter. You're afraid it might be true. You deny the accusations. You're addicted to her brew. That girl there in the bottle, oh, she plays you for a fool, saying you can have us both. She's lying and she's cruel. She's lying and she's cruel. That girl is nothing new. She's lying and she's cruel. She's lying and she's cruel. That girl is blinding you. How I wish you knew. She's lying and she's cruel. That girl there in the bottle, the one you drink so soft and sweet. I'll never know the depths of you that a woman has seen. Thanks, guys. Megan, I'm looking forward to actually meeting you someday. That previous song I forgot to mention, I wrote it with a friend here in town, Lainey Wright. She's a great songwriter, beautiful voice. This next song is called Heavy. It's a song I've just released as a single. It's on Spotify, Apple, everywhere you listen. And it was released through Atomic Milk and Zeta Jewel Band put together a compilation album at the beginning of lockdown. And I think over 70 artists contributed a song that we wrote during lockdown and produced during lockdown and put it all together. And it's so cool to see how many people have created something and put it out in the world. So it's on Bandcamp too if you want to go check it out. It's called Heavy. Take off that mask you're wearing. You're holding me at bay. I know it's scary sharing the thoughts that keep you awake. And I know it's heavy, but I wanna bear that weight? Are you feeling lost and wondering, will the money come through this month? Will the morning never dawn again, or will darkness swallow us? And I know it's heavy, but I wanna bear that weight with you. If you want me to. I know you're thinking things in that head of yours, but I want to know if we're thinking the same things. I'll never know if you never say a word. If I say it again, will you finally hear me? That I know it's heavy, but I wanna bear that weight with you. If you want me to, with you.
Hooray! I was hoping you'd play that song, but I didn't want to tell you what to play. Or like make a request since you only have 2 songs and you have so many good songs. But I
Well,
was
thanks so much.
really happy that you played that song.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's another song of yours. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I recently watched a video of yours that was featured on NPR.
Oh, the island.
Yeah, that was so you're playing there's a marimba?
Kalimba.
I was like, marimbas are a bigger instrument. Okay.
Yeah, they're bigger like a
Yeah.
xylophone? Kind of?
Yeah,
or
they're like a big
not?
xylophone.
It's a marimba?
Yeah, marimba. Yeah, I knew a bunch of marimba players in college. They'll be pissed at me for forgetting that. But yeah, kalimba. And that song, "The Island," is really beautiful. And so, what was that for?
The island song?
Yeah.
Well, I traveled, let's see, probably, when was this? May of 2018, I went to, my family was going to vacation, and I justified traveling by insisting that I would be writing on this trip.
I'm very familiar with this
I
type
have
of
to,
justification.
this has to be a business trip.
Yes.
And so I went and I, for whatever reason, couldn't bring a guitar. And so I brought something smaller.
Oh, that
and
makes
even
sense.
a ukulele did not fit in my luggage. So my friend let me borrow a kalimba. She's a percussionist and has all of these different instruments. And she's like, just play with this. And it's tuned to the key of G. And it has a little instruction booklet like, here's these chords. And I was like, well, I guess I'm figuring this out because I have a song due at midnight on Sunday. So
What was it due for?
I often participate in songwriting groups. And so
Got
the
it.
next song was due that Sunday at midnight. And nothing like a deadline to get something done, learn a new instrument.
Always get kicked out of those. Like, there are all these songwriting groups where it's like, you have to write a song every week by Sunday or you're going to be kicked out of the group. And yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just so resistant to being told what to do, even by friends with whom I agree to do this challenge. I'm like, you're not the boss of me. I create on no one's schedule. And then I just get kicked out of the group. So anyhow, it's very productive. It's a very healthy attitude to have.
Sounds like it.
I just threw a link in the comments for y'all. You should totally check it out. Bookmark that for later.
Thanks.
It's a really beautiful song, and it was you submitted it for the NPR Tiny Desk thing, right?
Yeah, and they featured it, and that was probably the
Love
best
that.
press. That was like the best news, and that was right before lockdown.
That's so great. That's so
went into
great.
lockdown on that high.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, it was a
I'm
good
very
one.
glad. Well, I just have a few more questions for you. I was wondering if there is something you've done in the past week that might surprise people.
Hold on, I'm sure there is. Let me think.
I have an answer, so if you want a
you
moment
do?
to pedal in your brain. For me, the
Oh,
thing
okay,
that
okay.
I've done in the past week, I don't know about you, buddy, but for me, the thing that I've done in the past week that some people might find surprising is that I just changed my guitar strings for what I'm pretty sure is the first time in all of lockdown. And it wasn't because I finally listened to the voice in my head that said, those strings are pretty dead, Becca. You should probably change them now. Oh, no, it was because one of them broke. And I was
nice.
like, okay, yeah, I can't just change one of them because the color differential was extreme. So now you have bright, shiny Loebe strings to listen to.
I've been doing a lot of in the past week. I've been doing a lot of organizing. I unpacked the last box. I just moved right before lockdown. We moved in like middle of February, maybe. And so that last box, and that was the one with like my music papers. And it's
Sure.
like this entire box, and I'm sorting through. I found songs from 10 years ago
Wow.
that obviously I don't play anymore because I was not writing great songs 10 years ago. But I was like, why is this just, why? I have a separate box for old writing. And I was like, why are these all here?
Mm-hmm.
So I found so many set lists. I don't know. Though maybe that's interesting. Maybe that's, I don't know if that's surprising or not, but that's
How
a
did you
thing.
get started playing music?
I have always been making noise ever since I could make noise. Like I would, be humming or singing to myself. My mom would tell me about me. I'm always, even when I couldn't talk, I'm singing something and making up gibberish songs. But I learned about putting words together in 5th grade in poetry and had this assignment to rewrite Psalm 23 and so that it rhymed. And I mean, I grew up in church and I was familiar with the psalm, but I'd never thought about rewriting it, And that exercise, you are probably familiar with this feeling as a songwriter who is an excellent writer, that when you do that for the first time, it feels good and you feel like you're good at it. Like it's something about it is either fun or easy to you. That's how I felt. And I just never had done anything like that. I was like, oh, I like this and I feel like I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And so that was like the positive reinforcement to keep
Fantastic.
playing with words and putting them together. So that's probably...
Well, and that's a great exercise to start a kid or a young writer with, because it's like it gets you a lot of the way there. You're not starting from a blank page. It's taking strong source material that's been tested over many years and has sort of meaning built into it. And it's like, just take this already meaningful, already, visual and interesting text and then just zhuzh it a little, like rearrange it into a song. So, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's a really cool exercise. Well,
yeah, it worked for me.
Well, I'm
What
so
about you?
glad that you got here. I was around the same age. I was in 6th grade when I started noodling on the guitar. I'd been singing, since I was a kid. And I'd tried playing violin when I was 6, 7 years old. And I liked it, but it didn't stick. I remember being really disappointed when I was 6 years old and I got a violin for my birthday. My parents got like a little tiny one. Here, I don't know if you can see. It was like this big. And so I put my little tiny violin up on my shoulder and I get the bow out and I put it across the strings and it goes... It sounded like a cat was dying. And I was like,
Yeah.
what's that? I mean, I was aghast. I was horrified. And I was just like, but I thought I knew how to play the violin. Like, I've seen the people on TV and they stand there and they hold it up like this and they go like this with the bow and it sounds beautiful. What am I doing wrong? And my mom, like, saw the look on my face and said I was just crestfallen. And, like, I was her oldest kid. She hadn't thought about this yet. She didn't realize I didn't know what practice is and that you have to learn how to play the instrument. The instrument doesn't just work. So
Right.
she had to, she was so good at like explaining things like that, like very seriously and sweetly to kids. So she explained to me that I had to take lessons and learn how to play it. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know about that. So I started taking lessons and, and it was okay, but my heart wasn't really in it once I couldn't, and it became a fight to practice every night. So I kind of drifted away from it, especially once we moved and I had to change teachers. But then when I was in middle school and some friends were starting to play guitar and I started getting interested in playing guitar, I pulled my dad's guitar out of the closet and started playing, and it just was what I wanted to do. It was like magnetic attraction. And because I had had the experience with the violin just a few years earlier, I knew that it would take some work. Like I understood that it sounded bad at first, but would get better if I kept trying. So it went pretty quickly. I started playing. I got through my calluses. I got really into strumming along. My dad, who's a real sweetheart, figured out pretty much every pop song on the radio that I wanted to play, would like transcribe it into like the key of C with a capo, and like figure out a way for me to play any song I wanted with like those 3 cowboy chords. And
That's so sweet.
It was great. It was great. And then I was writing poetry in my middle school poetry unit, and I realized that if I took these chords I was strumming and these poems I was writing and put them together, then I would have songs. And that's when I started writing songs. And they were real rough at first, of course. It was like just terrible teenage poetry turned into terrible teenage folk songs.
Yes, terrible.
Yeah. But, my dad started taking me to Eddie's Attic when I was in high school in Atlanta to go to the open mic. And I would see, local and regional touring songwriters and always get really inspired by that. And then I went to college for music and studied audio engineering and started, recording my albums when I graduated from school. And it's just been sort of a long, slow climb from there.
But I've been amazed at your journey. You're a very impressive person with a very impressive work ethic.
You are very kind. Thank you. Well, a few years ago, I was lucky enough to team up with Grace Pettis and Betty Sue, and we formed this little. We always laugh when people call it a super group because like we're not like famous, but we're all hardworking and we all
definitely an Austin supergroup for sure.
Thanks. We all have audiences that are distinct and overlap in some areas, and it made it make sense for a tour. And I don't think any of us anticipated the chemistry we would have, especially when we got together to write. And I've never experienced anything like it before. It's been really fun. So I feel very lucky to get to do it. And I feel really lucky. I mean, you and I had crossed paths a little bit beforehand, but I really got to know you through Grace and through the band. And when you came to be a guest at our Wildwood show, and so I count you among the many blessings that Nobody's Girl has brought into my life. So anyhow, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm going to let you go, and guys, please check out Natalie's website. You know what? I'm going to show you guys this other banner. There we go. You can find Natalie
put all
on
that together.
Spotify and iTunes, and also natpricemusic.com. Yeah, I put it all together and then forgot to put it on screen. So how about that?
I mean, you probably only had 5 minutes to do all that. So
it went quick. It was quick. It was real quick. But you can also find her on Patreon, and I highly recommend you do patreon.com, Natalie Price, and you can hear her music and follow her journey, and I highly recommend it. I don't think you'd regret it. So
thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming so last minute.
Yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out.
All right, and I will let you go. Bye, darling. Oh, I'm sad to see her go. All right. Well, I'm going to play you guys another Nobody's Girl song. How about that? I want to see your comments. I saw your face in the stars last night, shining down from a clear black sky. Colorado turned out the lights. 1,000 miles from California sand, 1,000 more to the Blue Ridge Mountains, all in the cradle of your weary hand. kids trying to sleep over subway vents, keeping watch over cold cement. No, go to North Dakota with a native ID. Churches shot, Philly, Jersey, Kansas, Tennessee. We're all waking up the same lost dream, staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, looking to the left, looking to the right. Is there a sign on your neighbor's lawn that makes you wonder how we went so wrong? Show me a side we can all get on. I saw a man quilt an 8-foot flag with just his hands in a pile of rags. Sometimes all we need is what we have. Staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, looking to the left, looking to the right, staring at the great divide. I only see what I can see, feeling small and not that free. 'Cause from where I stand, this doesn't look like the promised land. Staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide, staring at the great divide. 'Cause from where I stand, this could still be the promised land. Thanks, guys. That is a tune called Promised Land. It is going to be on the next Nobody's Girl record, which you can check out some of the singles that are already out on Spotify. You can pre-order it on our website. Let me get that up for you. The link to, so if you go to wearenobodiesgirl.com/store, if you are the kind of person who likes to throw a few dollars into a digital tip jar for a show, that's where you can do that for this show. You can also pre-order our new album on CD and vinyl. Here, I'm gonna play you guys one tune of mine, and then answer questions if there are any, and then I'm going to play you another Nobody's Girl song and say goodnight. And that is our syllabus. Now you know. You aren't really on my mind, not really all the time, not really all I find in strangers' faces. I've got my own life too, with so very much to do. No time to write songs for you or on our places. Ooh, what do I do with this tattoo? All I have left of you definitely aren't there. Making jokes in your underwear, making fun of my morning hair. I can't remember how you would hold me tight, leave on a crack of light, so I'd see that I was alright. A dying ember. Ooh, what do I do with this tattoo? All I have left of you. truthfully aren't my type. Not with your smile just right. Not with your honest eyes and good graces. Honey, it's plain to see the bridge between you and me was a beautiful fantasy. We couldn't make it. Ooh, what do I do with this tattoo? All I have left of you. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been just absolutely so much fun. I have this book of questions. It's a Q&A book that I got on the road at some point a few years ago. And the idea is that you go through the book every day for 5 years, and there's a question a day. There's 365 questions, and every day you write your answer. And then at the end of 5 years, you have years worth of answers to these questions. And some of them we're not going to ask on the air. Things like, what's your deepest insecurity? Or like, what's the hardest relationship in your life? We're not talking about that stuff. But I thought I would ask a few questions, and I'm going to ask it of myself and also of you guys. So I'm going to go through and ask y'all, if you were a literary character, who would you be? Ooh, questions like that are so hard. The ones that just draw from the entire universe of literary characters of all books I've read. Can I be the lion from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? That would be a good character. Actually, I think that has some metaphorical consequences that we don't need to dive into. Another character from literature. I mean, I go back to Pride and Prejudice a lot. So am I a Jane or a Lizzie? I think I'm probably a Lizzie. Although I do quote Lady Catherine de Bourgh a lot, where she says, I never learned to play the piano, but if I had, I would have been a great proficient. Aslan. Yes. Can I be Aslan? All right, guys, what about you? If you were a literary character, who would you be? Here's a question, another question. Feel free to answer any of these that you feel compelled to. What is the most creative thing you've done recently? I would say for me, I've been doing some writing and songwriting, but songwriting has been hard for me during quarantine. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there in case it resonates with any other writers who are currently listening. I've had lots of ideas, especially for melodies. I love writing melodies, and for hooks and single lines of, lyrics and verses and, a stray chorus here and there. But putting together a whole song has required a level of emotional presence that I have found it hard to connect with during this time of panic and quarantine and lockdown and fear. And I have found that that songwriting has just been harder for me than I would expect, because it's hard to remember what it feels like to not be in quarantine. Does that make sense? So it's been hard for me to connect with my emotions, to remember what it feels like enough, to write about heartache or loss or love or anything besides being in a pandemic. And I don't want to write about the pandemic. So I've been not writing as many songs as I would like, but I've also been making a really intentional effort to not beat myself up about it. And therefore, I've been channeling my creative energy elsewhere. And one of the most creative things I've done recently that I'm very excited about is that I started a YouTube series about the music business and about what it's like behind the scenes as an independent singer-songwriter. I put out sort of a pilot about a month ago on my birthday. It was like my birthday present to myself, was a kick in the pants to get started on this thing. And the first real episode is coming out tomorrow, and it's all about live streaming, actually. So if you want to know my tips and tricks for live streaming, tune into my YouTube page tomorrow morning. Speaking of YouTube, the Nobody's Girl YouTube channel, which is, I believe, youtube.com/Nobody's Girl Music, maybe? I'm not quite sure what the URL is. I have Natalie's YouTube up right now, so I can't see. But the Nobody's Girl YouTube channel has singles from our last 3 singles from our album, has music videos up for those, and I would love for you to check those out. We recorded 2 of them at home during lockdown, which was actually really fun and creative. We had a video where a bunch of our friends danced. I got all dressed up in my living room and did some line dancing. And the other video was sort of us going through our day, and that was for the song Tiger. And then there's a lyric video for the song Kansas. So you can check all of that out on our YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can pre-order our album down there at wearenobodiesgirl.com/store. And you can also, so you can send us a tip there. And you can also find us on Spotify right down there. bit.ly/Spotify NBG. So please do check that out. Unless there are any questions from y'all, I think I'm going to play one more song and call it a day, call it a night. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to both of my guests. Thank you to Natalie for joining on such short notice. Thank you to Megan for being willing to play and for tuning into the chat, even though you are no longer able to be on camera. I do really appreciate it. And do we have any requests? If not, I think I know what I'm going to play. Anyone? Okay. I know what I'm going to play. I'm going to leave you guys with this song. It is the very first song that I ever wrote with Grace and Betty Sue. Back in late 2017, we were planning a tour for the spring of 2018, and we knew that we wanted to write at least one song together so that we could have something to close out the show with. And we got together for a songwriting retreat, and we wrote this one. You can find it on Spotify, and please do follow us while we're there. Welcome, honey, to Queen City, 20 miles west of the line. Already in Mississippi, where the beaten path unwinds. Leave your gold, your casseroles, your bottles of sweet red wine. Your losing hand, your wedding band, polished to a shine. Whichever road you've come, pilgrims, children, want a mother's arms. Magazines describe the scene as the caravans came to town. 20,000 strangers crowded in from all around. Paid respect, Sunday best, a sermon and then a song. Clapping hands, a marching band, gild the lily till dawn. No matter where you're running from whichever road you've come, pilgrims, children, want a mother's arms. Thank you guys so much. That is Nobody's Girl's song Queen City. You are tuned into the weekly check-in of Nobody's Girl TV. Every week, one of the three of us gets together with a guest. This week, my guest was Natalie Price. You can find her information. I'm going to throw it up on the screen one more time. Miss Nat Price music.com. And if you come back next week, same time, 6 o'clock on Thursday, you can see myself with my two cohorts, Grace Pettis and Betty Sue, along with our very special guest, Ms. Rosie Flores. It's going to be a really killer show. We would love to see you there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for the love in the tip jar. I really appreciate you guys so much for throwing money in the tip jar and for pre-ordering the record. It really means a lot to all of us. Thanks for helping us keep our folk boats afloat during this crazy time. And I look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Meg, Heather, Rusty, Cooter. Yes, that was super punk rock. I am very punk rock. Thank you guys all so much. And hopefully I will see you again next week. All right. Bye. Thank you all so much.